Recording. The ridge upon which the companions stood went down steeply before their feet. Below 20 fathoms or more there was a wide and rugged shelf, which ended suddenly in the brink of a sheer cliff. The east wall of Rowan. So ended the Emmen Muir, and the green plains of the Rohirrim stretched away before them to the edge of sight. "Look!" cried Legolas, pointing up into the pale sky above them. "There is the eagle again! He's very high! He seems to be flying now away from this land back to the north. He's going with great speed! Look!" "No, not even my eyes can see him, my good Legolas," said Aragorn. "He must be far aloft indeed. I wonder what is his errand, and if he's the same bird that I have seen before. But look, I can see something nearer at hand and more urgent. There's something moving over in the plain." "Many things," said Legolas. "It is a great company on foot, but I cannot say more nor say what kind of folk they may be. They are many leagues away, 12, I guess, but the flatness of the plain is hard to measure." "I think, nonetheless, that we should no longer need any trail to tell us which way to go," said Gimli. "Let us find a path down to the fields as quick as may be." "I doubt if we will find a path quicker than the one that the orcs choose," said Aragorn. They followed their enemies now by the clear light of day. It seemed that the orcs had pressed on with all possible speed. Every now and again the pursuers found things that had been dropped or cast away: food bags, the rinds and crust of hard grey bread, a torn black cloak, a heavy iron-nailed shoe broken on the stones. The trail led them north along the top of the escarpment, and at length they came to a deep cleft, carved in the rock by a stream that splashed noisily down. In the narrow ravine a rough path descended like a steep stair into the plain. At the bottom they came with a strange suddenness on the grass. At the bottom they came with a strange suddenness on the grass of Rowan. It swelled like a green sea up to the very foot of the Emmen Muir. The failing stream vanished into a deep growth of cresses and water plants, and they could hear it tinkling away in green tunnels down long gentle slopes towards the fens of the Endbush far away. They seemed to have left winter clinging to the hills behind. Here the air was softer and warmer and faintly scented, and spring was already stirring, and the sap was flowing. As the spring was already spirring, and the sap was flowing again in herb and leaf. Legolas took a deep breath, like one that drinks a great draught after a long thirst in barren places. "Ah, the green smell," he said. "It is better than much sleep. Let us run. Let us run." "Light feet may run swiftly here," said Aragorn. "More swiftly, maybe, than iron-shod orcs. Now we have had chance to listen. Now we have a chance. Now we have a chance to lessen their lead. Now we have a chance to lessen their lead." They went in single file, running like hounds on a strong scent, and an eager light was in their eyes. Nearly due west, the broad sweats of the marching orcs trampled its ugly slot. The sweet grass of Rowan had been bruised and blackened as they passed. Presently Aragorn gave a cry and turned aside. "Stay!" he shouted. "Do not follow me yet!" He ran quickly to the right, away from the main trail, for he had seen footprints that went that way, branching off from the others, the marks of small and short feet. These, however, did not go far before they were crossed by oak prints, also coming out from the main trail behind and in front. Then they curved sharply back again and were lost in the trampling. At the furthest point Aragorn stooped and picked up something from the grass. Then he ran back. "Yes," he said. "They're quite plain. A hobbit's footprints. Pippin's, I think. He's smaller than the other. And look at this." He held up a thing that glittered in the sunlight. It looked like the new open leaf of a beech tree, fair and strange in that treeless plain. The brooch of an elf cloak!" "The brooch of an elf cloak!" cried Legolas and Gimli together. Not idly do the leaves of Lorien fall, said Aragon. This did not drop by chance, it was cast away as a token to any that might follow. As a token to this did not idly do the leaves of Lorien fall, said Aragon. This did not drop by chance, it was cast away as a token to any that might follow. I think Pippin ran away from the trail for that purpose. Then he was at least alive. Said Gimli. And he had the use of his wits and of his legs too. That is heartening. We do not pursue in vain. Let us hope that he did not pay too dearly for his boldness, said Legolas. Come, let us go on. The heart of those merry young folk, driven like cattle, burns my heart. The aches of Gimli the dwarf at that point. That's the aches he had. Gimli. Quite rough. And 2 daggers of Aragorn, son of Arathorn. And a sword. Which one I will not disclose now, but this is not Narsil. But it is a famous sword. The strength of the Rangers of Windworth. The sun climbed to the noon, and then rode slowly down the sky. Light clouds came up as the sea in the distant south, and were blown away upon the breeze. The sun sank, shadows rose behind and reached out long arms from the east. So the hunters held on. 1 day now had passed since Boromir fell. The orcs were yet far ahead. No longer could any sight of them be seen on the level plains. A nightshade was closing about them. Aragorn halted. As nightshade was closing about them, Aragorn halted. Only twice in their day's march had they rested for a brief while, and 12 leagues now lay between them and the eastern wall where they had stood at dawn. 12 leagues. We've come at last to a hard choice, he said. Shall we rest by night, or shall we go on while our will and strength hold? Unless our enemies rest also, they will leave us far behind if we stay to sleep, said Legolas. Surely even orcs must pause on the march, said Gimli. Seldom will orcs journey in the open under the sun, yet these have done so, said Legolas. Certainly they will not rest by night. But if we walk by night, we cannot follow their trail, said Gimli. The trail is straight and turns neither right nor left as far as my eyes can see, said Legolas. Maybe it could lead you at guess in the darkness. Maybe I could lead you at guess in the darkness and hold to the line, said Aragorn. But if we strayed, or if they turned aside, then when light came there might be long delay before the trail was found again. And there is this also, said Gimli. Only by day can we see if any tracks led away, if a prisoner should escape, or if any should be carried off eastward, say to the great river towards Mordor. We might pass the signs and never know it. That is true, said Aragorn. But if I read the signs back yonder rightly, the orcs of the White Hand prevailed, and the whole company is now bound for Isengard. Their present course bears me out. Yet it would be rash to be sure of their counsels, said Gimli. And what of escape? In the dark, we should have passed the signs that led you to the brooch. The orcs will be doubly on their guard since then, and the prisoners even warier, said Legolas. There will be no escape again if we do not contrive it. How that is to be done cannot be guessed, but first we must overtake them. And yet even I, dwarf of many journeys, and not the least hardy of my folk, cannot run all the way to Isengard without any pause, said Gimli. My heart burns me too, and I would have started sooner. But now I must rest a little to run the better, and if we rest the blind night is the time to do so. I said it was a hard choice, said Aragorn. How shall we end this debate? You are our only guide, said Gimli, and you are skilled in the chase. You shall choose. My heart bids me to go on, said Legolas, but we must hold together. I will follow your counsel. You give the choice to an ill chooser, said Aragorn. Since we passed through the Argonath, my choices have gone amiss. He fell silent, gazing north and west into the gathering night for a long while. We will not walk in the dark, he said at length. The peril of missing a trail or sign of other coming and going seems to be the greater. If the moon gave enough light, we would use it. But alas, he sets early and is yet young. But alas, he sets early and is yet young and pale. And tonight he is shrouded anyway, Gimli murmured. Would that the lady had given us a light, such a gift as she gave to Frodo. It will be more needed where it is bestowed, said Aragorn. With him lies the true quest. Ours is but a small matter in the great deeds of this time. A vain pursuit from its beginning, maybe, which no choice of mine can mar or mend. Well, I have chosen, so let us use the time as best we may. He cast himself on the ground and fell at once into sleep. If he had not slept since their night under the shadow of Tol Brandir, for he had not slept since the night under the shadow of Tol Brandir. Before dawn was in the sky, he woke and rose. Gimli was still deep in slumber, but Legolas was standing, gazing northwards into the darkness, thoughtful and silent as a young tree in a windless night. They are far, far away, he said sadly, turning to Aragorn. I know in my heart that they have not rested this night. Only an eagle could overtake them now. Nonetheless, we will still follow as we may, said Aragorn. Stooping, he roused it. Nonetheless, we will still follow as we may, said Aragorn. Stooping, he roused the dwarf. Come, we must go, he said. The scent is growing cold. But it is still dark, said Gimli. Even Legolas on the hilltop could not see them till the sun is up. I fear they have passed beyond my sight from hill or plain, under moon or sun, said Legolas. Where sight fails, the earth may bring us rumour, said Aragorn. The land must groan under their hated feet. He stretched himself upon the ground with his ear pressed against the turf. He lay there motionless for so long a time that Gimli wondered if he had swooned or fallen asleep again. Dawn came glimmering, and slowly a grey light grew about them. At least he rose, and now his friends could see his face. It was pale and drawn, and his look was troubled. The rumour of the earth is dim and confused, he said. Nothing walks upon it for many miles about us. Faint and far are the feet of our enemies, but loud are the hoofs of the horses. It comes to my mind that I heard them, even if I lay on the ground in sleep, and they troubled my dreams, horses galloping, passing in the west. But now they're drawing ever further from us, riding northward. I wonder what is happening in this land. Let us go, said Legolas. So the third day their pursuit began.